Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lauren. If you're new here, welcome to our channel. This is Ritzy. He is a big baby. I love him. He's amazing. He's my forever baby. He's got a little baby face, but he's like 10 years old. Oh, that's crazy. And while you might be here for the cats, we're not going to be talking about them for this whole video, even though they are adorable. Today, we are actually reviewing a new palette. I am super backed up in my reviews because I got super sick with the one thing that YouTube doesn't like you to say for some reason. I don't know why. It's like a thing. So I don't know why we can't say it, but we can't say it. But it's whatever you're thinking of, that's probably what it is. And I got so sick. I was out. I could not speak. My voice was all messed up for like 2 weeks. I have been trying to figure out ways to film without a voice. You can't really do it. It's really hard. You can make shorts. There are some shorts that I made that I'm like, this is perfect. But for the most part, luckily I had pre-filmed a couple things. So I was able to post some things, but yeah, we are back. And there are like 3 eyeshadow palettes that have arrived since I've been sick that I haven't gotten a chance to review. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna review all of them because I want to give them all time. You know, like I spent my money on them. I want to make sure they're worth it if you were curious about picking them up. The first one, the one that we are doing today that you have already seen in the title, is the Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Brushes. And Cosmic Brushes is a indie brand out of the UK. They're much smaller. Their palette releases tend to sell out pretty quickly. And I thought they were updating their name. I'm not sure if they're still Cosmic Brushes. They must still be though, because all their branding is CB for Cosmic Brushes. But what got me about this palette is the colors. They're so green. They're so green. Now, I love Cosmic Brushes. I have every single one of their eyeshadow palettes. Not all are the same. There is one palette that I was a little disappointed in, and it was the greens that disappointed me. So I wanted to get this palette just to see if the greens will redeem themselves or if I'm still gonna run into some of the issues I ran into last time, which was a little bit of patchiness, not really able to blend out, just giving me like the works. It wasn't happening, okay? Tried it a couple different times and that green hated me, which was fair because I didn't like it either. But we're gonna see if these greens work for me, and I love greens. And Cosmic Brushes actually, some of their palettes have some really difficult colors and they have made them work so well. Purples, they have one palette that is primarily purples. That is fantastic. Like purples tend to be a little harder to manufacture. I feel like if color is gonna go wrong, it's gonna be a purple. But they do great purples. So we're gonna see how well I handle this palette. And I think we should just do some swatches and let's do a different look on each eye. I think just to really explore it. I mean, both looks are going to be green, obviously. If you are interested in this palette, I will have it linked down below. It's $38, but I had to pay for shipping because again, it is a UK brand. So I had to pay for some international shipping. Total, I think I also used somebody's code. I got like $4 off. So total I paid was, I want to say $51. So that shipping got me. So let's see if this was worth the $51. Let's do some swatches. I'm gonna just set the swatches to music so you can relax and watch as I swatch. And then we're gonna get into the look. So let's do it. prime this eye with my Gimme Glow primer in Parchment. I don't know what's happening with Gimme Glow. That's another brand I really want to know. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? Because they come out with like random products every now and again, but sometimes they come out with products that already exist, but in different formats. And I want something new because I love Gimme Glow. But we're not here to talk about Gimme Glow. We're here to talk about cosmic brushes. Now, the color that I had issue with in one of the previous palettes was kind of this dark murky green. So obviously we're gonna need to play with that one. And I think I'm gonna start by going into Algae right here. And I'm gonna start by putting it on top of part of my lid. I don't think we're gonna do my entire upper lid in Algae. Maybe I'll do something softer next to it. But I do like the kind of like funkier greens, especially with Halloween coming up, which I am excited. Happy spooky season, everyone. I am excited. Yes, I am 100% that girl that has her PSL in one hand and is wearing her Ugg boots. Actually, I don't know where my Ugg boots are. It's been a hot minute since I've worn them. Typically that is me, but you know what's happening right now? A giant heat wave in my part of California. It's hot. It's not even like kind of hot. It's October and it was 104 degrees yesterday where I live. It doesn't feel like fall. And to be honest, California kind of skips fall. We go from summer to winter fairly quickly, and our winters tend to be on the mild side compared to some of you out there. Like where I live, we don't get snow. We get a little bit of rain. Sometimes it's overcast. Makes me sad, but I get to wear fantastic sweaters, so it kind of evens itself out. But let's go into murky right here. I am definitely going for a little bit of a grungy, I think, look today. So let's see how this turns out on this eye. But let's go ahead and just pat this on. And I mean, I guess I can't complain about a heat wave. Just a few days ago, there was a giant hurricane that hit parts of Florida, and it was just crazy. It was tragic. Like, so many people lost their homes, lost their lives. Nature is terrifying because you don't always know what's gonna happen, right? With a hurricane, it can change its course. You can think you're out of the way and then suddenly you're not. And that's terrifying to me. Now in California, we get earthquakes. And I don't know if you saw the newest Jaclyn Hill controversy. She likes to put her foot in her mouth. Like, she really does, okay? Like, sometimes just don't say anything. But she was talking about how she got an alert on her phone saying her old house, where she'd moved out of it like 6 months prior, but her house was in the path of the hurricane and she needed to evacuate. And she like laughs about it, and then she's like, my friend asked me, what's scarier, a hurricane or an earthquake? And I've been in both. The way that she was talking about it, and I guess it was before the hurricane really hit, so the destruction wasn't known when she made this video, but it still just sounded so callous. She was just like, she's been in California for like less than a year, and she's like, I've experienced 6 earthquakes since I've been here, 6. And I was like, they were tiny, first of all. They were not big earthquakes. We have not experienced a massive earthquake here in quite a while. Knock on wood. I don't want to. But like, she was just talking like it was the worst thing in the world. And earthquakes are terrifying. The ground is shaking, right? But hurricanes, there's so much, like, they're both terrifying, right? I mean, I've never been through a hurricane. I've only seen what's happened to people who have. I'm talking a lot about hurricanes. I'm sorry. If you have any input on hurricanes, I am curious because I've never experienced one. I don't want to. That's terrifying. But it's just, it's a whole nother world when you have to deal with something like that. Okay. Did I talk too much? Let's go into Fern. This is the one, honestly, that I feel like could potentially traumatize me. And I didn't want to be traumatized by this palette. I was kind of hoping that they would have fixed the issues that I dealt with last time. And again, there was a lot of patchiness. It was just patch city. And it was hard to work with, and it was disappointing because I was super excited for that color, and it just bummed me out. So let's see. I mean, honestly, these colors are all going on really well. What I like about Cosmic Brush's formula is it's definitely more like a pressed pigment. So blending it out is not always the best route for for the shadows, but kind of like patting them on. But yeah, that was weird with the one color I had an issue with, because even patting it on, it was like, nope, sorry, not going on for you. Okay, let's also go in with Fern just underneath the waterline. Neither of these are gonna be super complicated looks, but they're gonna be green. There are browns in this palette, which I appreciate because I'll use them a lot in my day-to-day use. I don't know if I really want to go into any browns though, like in this demonstration. So neutral. We just did a neutral palette. We just reviewed the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm, right? I Need a Warm palette, which is a fabulous palette. It really is. Let's go into Undergrowth. That's pretty. And I am gonna 100% use my finger. Ooh, super metallic. I'm just gonna pat it on here. I am noticing a little bit of creasing, if you can see. So I'm gonna go back in with, let's see, what did I use? Murky. I'm gonna go back in with Murky, kind of like press more of that in there, and hopefully it stays. Okay, so not super complicated, but this is actually kind of the green look that I love. Like something really simple to replicate and do over and over. It's kind of like a smoky, shimmery green eye. Definitely what I like. Now, I don't know if we will continue to have issues with the crease. I have oily eyelids. I have always had oily eyelids. It's the only part of my face that's oily, and sometimes things do not stick there. And with this additional heat wave, it's the end of the day too, so this is like, I've been wearing this makeup. It's my Hourglass foundation. It lasts, it really does, but I've been wearing it all day, and like my face is starting to get tired and not want makeup on it anymore. So that could be part of the problem. But yeah, I am seeing it like not sticking to the crease super well, which again, I'm not sure if that's me or the product, because everything else looks really good, and honestly it went on really well, like just patting it in. But let's do a different look on the other eye now. We have a lot of murky, swampy greens in this palette, and I love it. I love a swampy green, but you know, we're gonna go, I think, in a little bit of a different direction. Yeah, I'm gonna go into Herbarium here, and I am going to, I think I like to do something a little bit simpler on the other eye when I do two eyes. So we're gonna do a little bit of a halo look, because I like doing a halo look. So I'm just going up, and I'm gonna switch hands because I was gonna say I'm left-handed, but I'm using the right hand. I can use both hands when applying makeup. I can only write with my left hand though. But a little bit ambidextrous, a little bit. But anyways, so that was the Jaclyn Hill drama that I thought I would talk about, because is there like a thing that happens when you get wealthy? Because I know that she's wealthy, and I know that she's huge on TikTok, kind of surprising. I don't think her YouTube is anywhere near where it was like a handful of years ago. I think she did fall off and kind of lost the trust of that community. I mean, we're seeing a lot of older beauty gurus that were like super popular on YouTube. Jeffree Star, oh God, James Charles. They're really big on TikTok, and I feel like the audience over there is younger. Maybe they don't know the scandals that these individuals went through, so they're like, oh, okay, like you're great. Like let's, you know, chill. Let me watch your TikToks. I don't know. It makes me sad. Let's go into Lichen next. I just want to put this in my crease. I want to see how it does there. And it is a Shrek green. Ooh, yes. It is a yellow green. It is more yellow than green. But I really do think that's kind of why those people are on TikTok now. They've lost their YouTube following. They need a new following. They're getting it. As far as I'm aware, I think they're all still pretty large on that platform. They have a lot of viewers. They go live. Who knows what they do on there. I post some things on my TikTok, so I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. But it's a different world and it terrifies me. It does. It does, okay? I like my YouTube. I like my long form videos. I really do. Ooh, yellow. Okay, and let's go into Fireflies right here. And I'm gonna put that all over the rest of my eye, kind of completing the halo. Okay, it's so much lighter than I thought it was gonna be. And it's kind of doing like this glowing grain thing in the pan, and then I'm not getting any of that on my eye. So this clearly has a very, very light, transparent base color. Let's see, you can see it on my finger though, look at that. I hope it's picking it up. It's really cool. It's really pretty. I don't know how it's reflected on the camera. It always reflects a little bit different from how I see it because I have like the lights on me, you know, and it kind of like washes things out. So I'm curious to see when I edit what it looks like on camera. Let's go ahead and let's go into, we can go into clay, sure. We'll use one neutralish color and we'll put it underneath the waterline. More, I guess, earthy side of things. Yeah, I don't love that Fireflies color for how I used it though. I think it would look really good on top of something, but just by itself, it's very, very light and transparent. So maybe, let's see, do we want to go into anything else while we're here? Maybe let's try Boggy. Let's go into Boggy and see what happens when we use Boggy. Yeah, that's got more color to it. Still keeping with the earthy theme. I love it. But yeah, I think that's good for that eye look as well. Again, we're not doing super complicated looks today. I just like to see how easy a palette is to use, and I do like to use as many colors as possible. So I think this is good. I like this. So let's go ahead, put on some eyeliner and mascara, and then come back and talk about, no more Jaclyn Hill, I'm done talking about her, but we can talk about the new palette from Cosmic Brushes, the Undergrowth palette. We are back. So what do you think of the two looks that we came up with today? I will say the one thing that I don't love about their shimmers is they're very, very metallic and slick. Not metallic in the color, I like that, but like they almost feel metallic. So it's really hard to get liquid eyeshadow to sit on top of them. It kind of like slips off. Even like I have like 4 or 5 and I kind of ran through all of them and none of them really want to stay put on top of those shimmers, which happens to some shimmers that are like super highly metallic or multi-chromes, duochromes. Sometimes those have a little more slippiness to them and it's hard to layer stuff on top of them. So I did have a little bit of an issue with that, but can I just say, not a huge fan of this side, okay? Not as much of a fan of the colors. This side is everything. I love this side. You know, one thing I did want to do that I like doing, if there's an option to, is I wanted to see if I can use any of these as either a blush, which I'm gonna go with no on this one, or potentially a highlighter. So let's go into, I'm gonna try to go in with Wilderness, and I'm just gonna actually put this one on my finger. This one is actually pretty metallic, but let's see what it looks like as a highlighter. Does it work? I mean, if you're going for kind of like a green gnomey look, if you want to be a gnome for Halloween, actually, I don't think gnomes have a highlighter. They can, they should. You go gnome. But not quite. Doesn't quite work, but that's okay. We like to try to see how versatile these palettes are. I don't think any of these colors are gonna work for me as a highlighter, and I like a green highlighter, but this one is just very chunky shimmers, and I don't typically like too much chunk in my highlighters. I like them pretty finely milled, so maybe not this color. Not bad though. Okay, not bad. It's growing on me. It's growing on me. So let's take a minute to talk about the Cosmic Brushes Undergrowth palette, how we feel about it, what I liked, what I didn't like. Is it worth $38 plus $15 for international shipping? Let's talk about it. So I know I mentioned a few times that I had some issues in a previous palette from Cosmic Brushes with the green. And I'm not seeing any issues right off the bat, except potentially things not sitting and staying in my crease. But again, I don't know if that could be attributed to the heat wave. I'm sweaty, my eyelids are sweaty and oily, so got that combo working for them. Now, I don't see that problem on this eye, so it could have been just the colors I chose as well, that darker green. That's the color that I had issues with in the last palette. I would say that these, when just pressing them onto your eye versus blending them out, worked pretty well, but again, it's not quite wanting to stay in my crease. And when I worked with the other palette that I had an issue with, they were really, really patchy. So I'm not seeing the patchiness, but I'm just seeing it not adhering to the skin the same. And even though I went over it again, I'm still seeing, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm seeing it wear off in some places. So that is definitely a little bit of an issue. I'm not seeing that at all on this eye. So maybe they have an issue manufacturing those dark murky greens, because this is a dark murky green and it looks good on my upper eyelid, but just when it starts running into any sort of like moisture or oil, it doesn't like it. So I think that is going to be a recurring issue with this palette. Not to the extent as the previous issue I had, definitely works a lot better than that one, but I just see it wearing down in the crease. So I need to play around with it more to make sure this is not just like a one-off. It could be. I need to play with some of the other greens. We did play with the actual green that was called Murky. Didn't see any issues really with that one. Wait, is that the one that that's literally the one that I had issues with. Oh my gosh, my brain. End of day. I'm sorry. But literally the murky shade, Murky, is the one I had issues with. We didn't play with Bark and Nettle, like the two at the end that are super dark. So I am curious to see how those are gonna work. I'll probably play with them a little bit more. Fern, I didn't really have any issues with. We didn't use it too extensively, but we did use it in the crease. That one seems fine right now. It seems fine. So we will see. We will see. There was a bit of fallout with some of the shimmers. So I did notice when I was putting on eyeliner that there was a little bit of fallout. It wasn't horrendous. It was easy to clean up, but it is there in case that's something that you're worried about. The other colors I used, I didn't have a problem with any of them. I thought, again, they all went on really well. Again, you know, it's really like that super metallic feeling shimmer that is a little harder to put eyeliner on. Well, sometimes it's kind of impossible to put eyeliner on that. So that would, you know, I just gotta work with them more, but all their shimmers kind of feel the same. They have that very metallic feel to them. So I think I'm gonna run into similar problems with all of them. Maybe not vegetation, which I hope not, because this one I just wanna wear all the time. I just want to put it all over my eyes. It's amazing. It's so pretty. That's the kind of green that I've been into lately, like this one in particular. So really like that green. I do really like the color story. I think all these colors play with each other very well. It's a very cohesive color story, and I do appreciate that. It's very pretty. It's very pretty. And I think I'm just gonna need to play with that a little more just to see if we're gonna run into patchiness, if we're going to run into issues with it not staying in my crease. I don't know, and it's kind of a bummer because kind of obsessed with this eye. So we're gonna see how it wears for the rest of the night. I'm gonna be taking my makeup off soon in a couple hours, so maybe it'll last until then. We'll see. We'll see. Overall, I do like this palette, but I am gonna have to play with it more before I decide anything, just because, again, that patchiness, the patchy issue. Is it an issue? Is it me? So once it starts cooling down a little bit here, I'll bring it back out. I'll play with it more. I'm so sweaty. But I definitely don't want to leave you on the note where I'm like, this is a terrible palette, because I don't think it is. I think maybe that one color, Murky, I'm going to have some issues with. So I'm going to have to just keep testing it. I can't give you my final thoughts on it now. except it does look beautiful, right? It does look it's a very visually appealing to me because, you know, like it is like undergrowth. It's just, I don't know. I want to live in the plants. I wouldn't survive very long, but you know, I want to live in the forest. Come on. Build a cabin out there, maybe, possibly. Close-ish to a city though, close-ish. But anyways, I am really curious. Have you picked up this palette? What are your thoughts overall on cosmic brushes? Because I've heard a lot of different opinions on their formula, on their palettes. People just have different thoughts, and I would love to hear yours. Let me know down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!